Hey, Joe, can you see me?
Yeah, no, we can see you okay.
All right, awesome. Hey, well, nice to formally meet you. Uh, my name is Nick Caldwell with Globe Life American Income Division. And I know we spoke the other day on the phone talking about your benefits through the union that you're set up with. Is Mary back there with you?
Yeah, no, she's right next to me.
All right, awesome. Hey, great. Well, listen, I have your benefits here. I really love that they have me using Zoom now, because I am under the weather. Nobody's getting sick. It just makes things go a lot faster here. So don't worry, I promise it won't take up too much of your time, okay?
Yeah,
So
and
let me
speaking of
just
that,
go ahead.
Nick, like, how long is this going to take?
It's not gonna take that long at all, I promise. It's like I said, it's really short. It's because I have to see members every hour by the hour. So they have me run around like crazy, speaking to 2 to 5 members every hour. So you're gonna love what they have set up for you. And I want to make sure you understand everything you're entitled to. Okay. So Zoom makes this go really fast. Got it?
Oh, okay.
So let me just type in this information and let's get it going. Okay. And are you from Houston, Joe?
Yeah, we're actually like north side Houston, Spring area.
Spring area. Okay. How long you guys been over there?
Oh, geez, we've been here probably 18 years, and then we lived in Vegas for a couple of years before that, but mainly here in Texas.
Vegas, huh? No kidding. I'm actually from Detroit, so I've moved over down here to Houston about 8 years ago. So I know how it is moving from home, getting used to a new area.
Yeah, definitely. I guess you're probably used to that colder weather too.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's the one thing, it's a love-hate thing, especially with the weather down here. You know how it is. Summertime's awful. Winters are beautiful. Winters up home, awful. Summertimes are beautiful though. And Joe, what was your date of birth real quick?
What was that?
What was your date of birth real quick, Joe?
Oh, it was 5/18/1977.
Gotcha. Okay. You said 77?
Correct, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, look, my man, I know you're dying to know. So let me just tell you exactly why I'm visiting with you today and this what I'm going to do for you. Okay. So my job is real simple. I'm just going to go over some no-cost benefits that have been set up for you already. Um, then I'm also going to go over some additional benefits that you might qualify for, right? So just to give you a little backstory, just so you know, my company, American Income, they work with over 20,000 different local labor unions, credit unions, and associations throughout the U.S. And look, whether you like unions or you don't, I was a part of Kroger for a long time. I hated the union, but the one thing we can both agree on is that they do have the best benefits, right? So, and a big reason for that is because of their relationship with American Income for the past 70 plus years, right? So, like I said before, as you can imagine, they have you running around like crazy. So let me just go ahead and jump into your first no cost benefit, right? And that's
Okay.
going to be the no child safe ID kit, right? Which is endorsed by the International Union of Police Associations. I'm sure you know a bunch of families with kids, right?
Yeah, no, we do.
Yeah. So sure you see all the Amber Alerts all the time on your phone. They pop up. Happens all throughout the day, right? Did you know that Texas leads the nation in abductions?
No, did not know that.
I didn't know that either at the time. And did you know that 93% of the children that aren't found in the first 24 hours are never found?
No, geez.
Uh, Sad, I know. So it's actually why they decided to create the most comprehensive app of its kind to help find a missing child, right? And so what I want to do for you is I'm going to give you a little QR code here, and I'm about to share my screen with you if you don't mind. That way you can just download that app, and then that way we can get you set up. I didn't forgot to ask. Do you have kiddos of your own?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, how many you guys got?
We have two, Ben and Abby.
Ben and Abby? Gotcha. Okay. They little ones, they're a little older.
Yeah, the probably like 7 and 12, so it's not crazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not too bad.
And what's this app called?
It's called the Child Safe Kit. So when you type that in the App Store, you'll want to do that first. So you'll search it, it'll be the first one. Can't miss it. As soon as you type that in, you want to download that app, and then as soon as I get this pulled up here, you're gonna want to scan this. And it's real simple. We don't have to fill it out here. But I just want to get you set up that way. You're that way you're good to go.
So yeah, I have it downloaded.
Awesome. Okay. Let me pull you back up here. All right. And then and you'll want to see here. I can't actually share it with you. It says the host, doesn't it? All right. And then you're gonna see it right over here, okay? Let me know when you see it.
Perfect. Yeah, I see it. And just scan this once I'm in the app.
Yes, sir. And then that little agent number, you'll want to type that in after you scan that.
Okay. All right, I'm in.
Awesome. And yeah, and again, you don't have to do that now. You can set that up anytime you'd like. So and that's just for you guys. So now imagine if your child went missing, right? Joe, can you see how important this would be?
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
most definitely.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So being the endorsed company by the International Union of Police Associations, they're actually asking that you refer at least 5 families for this app. Brothers, sisters, if they got kiddos, your nephews. I know you mentioned that you knew families with children, and everyone always wants to put down a dozens of people, aunts, uncles. Let's just start with people close to you, right? So who's the first person that comes to mind?
Um, Geez, probably my sister Madison.
You said Madison?
Hmm.
And who else?
My cousin Brett.
Right. And who else?
Probably my other cousin Tristan.
Okay. Who else you got?
Mm, that's probably about it.
About it. Gotcha. I forgot to ask. What's Madison's last name?
Cooper.
Cooper. And what's her phone number?
832
Okay.
121 1267.
All right. And Brett's last name?
Miller.
Milton?
Miller.
Miller? Gotcha. And his phone number?
281 685 2223.
Okay. And Tristan's last name?
Miller as well. And it's 832 715
Hmm.
6271.
All right. Sounds good there. And now, Joe and Mary, this is your next no cost benefit, and it's actually the free will and testament kit. Um, have you guys had the chance to establish a final will and testament yet?
No, we have not.
No? Well, again, I understand it. I haven't either, but in the US, a simple will can actually cost up to $1,000 or more, right? And it just depends on how complex it is. So this free will kit program partnered with American Income is to distribute these kits at no cost to you because of the company's reputation and history of helping families, right? So let me just go ahead and view that free will kit with you. Okay. And let's just run through a quick checklist here. It's just on my delivery form, and then just to kind of help you quickly understand just how to properly fill this out, right? So, starting with the workbook here. Let me see here. Can you see it by chance or no? You
No.
get that? No? Okay, let me see. Okay, so when you see it, right? I don't know if you got it yet already, but just starting with the workbook, you're gonna notice on the left page, there are explanations and examples of what to do. And on the right page is a blank page for you to use as a rough draft, right? So the actual will that you will sign and notarize is the extra form over there. Okay, so let's just continue with the workbook to make sure you understand what to do, right? Page 3 is where it actually begins. After filling out your personal family information, you will list the assets you want to distribute and who the heirs will be. These can be things of financial value or just sentimental value. So you can add an extra page if you have more assets to distribute, but just to get it notarized too, it'll just be a part of your will. Okay. You also want to have your life insurance policies listed somewhere, as your executor should know the policy information, who the beneficiaries are. Who do you have for your life insurance?
Oh, we don't have any.
Don't have any? No worries. Okay. And then at the top of the next page, right? So just make sure you list your digital accounts that you have any kind of expense like Amazon Prime, Netflix, as they need to be transferred or shut down after death. Otherwise, they will continue to generate costs, and you don't want that, right?
No, definitely not.
Exactly. So next, you're going to want to name your executors. They should be uh, responsible people who have vested interest in making sure your will is carried out correctly, right? So, for example, um, your executors must pay your estate's debts before distributing assets to the heirs. So, if not, the executor may be held responsible for those debts. Okay, so and at the bottom of that page is a place to name who will be the guardian of any minor children in the house. So I know you said you got your kiddos back there. If no one is named, your children could end up in foster care should parents be lost in an accident, right? So it's better to fill it out just to be safe, right? So not only that, on this next page over here, we have mostly legal jargon and things you can kind of read on your own if you wish. The only real important part is what your funeral wishes are. So, for example, do you wish to be buried or cremated?
Probably traditional funeral.
Traditional funeral? Okay, gotcha. And after that comes the signature page. Okay. So you're going to need two witnesses who are not beneficiaries or heirs to sign in front of a notary. Note the notary cannot be a witness either. Okay. So getting it notarized is the best way to make sure your will is legally bind. If you want, you can ask your bank manager, who's usually a notary, to do it, because if they say yes, it will cost you nothing, right? So, for example, I bank at Bank of America. Where do you bank with?
Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo? Okay, great. Well, just ask them and you might get it done at no cost, okay? Because most traditional banks tend to do that. So once that is done, you will be binding, you're good to go. So at the end of this part is a sample file your list, your digital accounts. It's not a legal part of the will. It is only here as an example, just to make sure the list is kept up to date and accessible to your executor, okay? The
Okay.
living will is an easier one. It's even easier. So now that it only takes effect in extreme cases where you cannot communicate or in the end stage condition or vegetative state. So, and if you just look over at the next page is where you name your surrogates. They're just people who will represent you in a case. The living will conditions are met. Okay. And at the end is just the signature page. So just make sure your witnesses are not a spouse or a blood relative. The living will can be notarized or it can be registered with your local hospital or primary care physician. So once you do that, it is legal and binding. And that's just how you fill it out. So um, I know it was a lot of information. Do you have any questions on that?
No, nothing at all.
No? Okay, awesome. And again, it's just important that once you kind of get that kit filled out, just make sure you follow all those instructions and just keep it in a safe place. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. So actually, Joe and Mary, your next no cost discount that's been set up for you is a plus discount card. How are your benefits do work?
They're all right.
Okay, well, you're gonna absolutely love this, right? And let me just get this pulled up for you because it's a lot easier if I just show you here. Can you see that all right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, like I said, you're just gonna absolutely love this, right? So I'm sure you know by now that you can't rely on your group benefits, since you just can't control them and they could change at any time, right? You leave, quit your job, they don't follow you once you were to leave, right? Or they lay you off. So this no cost benefit will actually help you with some of those gaps by giving you up to an 85% discount on things like dental, vision, prescription drugs, hearing aids, telemedicine, chiropractic services. Your membership requires an annual renewal, but that's also a no cost to you, right? So we'll let you know when it's time to renew, so you don't got to come hunting us down. We'll give you a holler, say, hey, would you like to renew this? Quick yes, and we're done, right? So you won't even have to think about it. People always tell me that they didn't think they'd use it, but they find themselves using it all the time. So again, it's at no cost to you. And it's just good to have that extra peace of mind, right? So you'll receive an activation email with you within the next few days. So just be on the lookout for that, okay?
Okay.
All right. And then your next no cost benefit, Joe and Mary, is actually the no accidental death and dismemberment certificate that the letter talked about. And so with this, Joe, this is a living benefit that pays you $2,000 for the loss of one hand, one foot, or a sight in the eye, and double that amount or $4,000 for the loss of any two. Okay. And Mary, for you, this is a death benefit that would pay you $4,000 should Joe die accidentally. Now, I know that $4,000 doesn't seem like a lot of money, right? I mean, really, it's not if you compare it to like somebody's life. But if Joe were to die, Mary, his paycheck would die with him, right? I imagine that kind of put a crunch in your budget, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So you can see how this would definitely help, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just go ahead and email you that certificate for your records here. And you're just going to receive a green certificate in the mail. And you're just going to fill that out completely. Just send it to the PO box on the top of it just to ensure that you're covered. Okay.
Okay.
And just one more thing I need to do is I do have to put down two emergency contacts on here. In the event that you were to die together in a common accident, right? So it would be wise if they live in Texas, they're over the age of 18, kind of living outside the home. So who would your first emergency contact be?
You can do my mom,
Your mom? Okay, what's her first name?
Karen
Okay. And what's her last name?
Powers, Powers.
And who's your second emergency contact?
You just do my dad, Andy Powers.
Andy Powers? Okay. And what's his phone number?
702 413 2121.
I think I forgot to ask. What's your mom's phone number by chance?
It is 281 613 3341.
Okay. Now it is a minimum of two, and we can kind of go above that if you'd like. So would you like to list the third emergency contact as well, just in
Um,
case?
no.
No? Okay, no worries. So now when something happens, you're just going to need to call our local office number. Could you just grab your phone from me real quick?
Yeah, I have it right here.
Yeah, so I'll just give you that number here. That number is 832-327-0800.
Okay. 0800.
And that's just to ensure your family gets the money that you're entitled to. Just to kind of make sure I'm going to be calling your emergency contacts personally so that they know what to do in an event of a claim. Okay. So, Joe, if you can just give them a holler, that they'll be hearing from me, that way, they're not getting upset with you. They're not getting upset with me.
Yeah,
Just to kind
definitely.
of walk them through. And then not only that, but in addition, if they do choose, they will also have access to this thanks to you. Okay.
Okay.
So that's going to be set up for them. Now, Joe, just make sure you give those families that you extended no cost benefits to a call or text. So, like your sister, just make sure you let her know about the child safe kit, um, your cousin, your brother, your friend, and your mom and dad about the certificate and the AD&D. So, as long as they have a heads up and they're really happy, um, just know that if I give them a call and they kind of don't know who I am and why I'm calling, sometimes they do get confused and they're going to be upset with both of us, right? So just please, please, please make sure you give them a call. Okay. Can you make sure of that for me?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Now, actually, Jill and Mary, what I'm going to do now that I covered all of your no cost benefits, I'm actually going to jump into reviewing the exclusive benefits that you must qualify for. Okay. So all the families that I love that I see love this part of the program. That's why 20,000 different groups handpicked American Income to handle their permanent and portable benefits for the last 60 plus years. And the best part is actually is that next time, I don't know if you go to your union meetings often, but if you do, just let them remember next time, give them a holler, and just make sure you kind of thank them for setting this up for you, okay? Because again, it's really exclusive, and so most of the time we don't even offer these things. But for you guys, they hooked this up for you guys, so you're gonna like this. Okay, so again, let's just start because we got to do a need analysis software. The reason most people don't have the right coverage is that they don't know what they need. Okay, so in a few minutes and after I kind of review this with you, you're definitely gonna know where you're at. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions just to see where you're at, and then before I do though, I just got to ask you three preliminary qualifications just to kind of review with you. So number one, you must be a member of an authorized group or sponsored in by someone who is, which you are through your union. Number two, you must have an active checking account with the bank or credit union, which you do with Wells Fargo. Um, but have you or anyone in the household been diagnosed with COVID-19 virus in the past?
No.
No? Well, you guys are lucky. And if you hear some videos playing in the background, that's just to kind of get the process going. So you can just kind of ignore that. Excuse me. So you can just kind of ignore that. It's pretty much just summarizing everything I just told you, right? So just to kind of save us time, do you mind if I skip these videos?
No, not at all.
Yeah, most people are like, yeah, save me time. You know what I mean? All right, Joe. So the biggest concern for families, what they deal with is when it comes to handling these concerns is affordability, right? So they have this setup where if there are concerns, it'd be based around like a 1 hour's wage per week. To make sure that it's accurate, what's a ballpark figure for your monthly income?
Ballpark is probably, geez, I'd say like 3,200 probably.
32? And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be exact, just like I said, just ballpark, you know what I mean? And I know we just kind of discussed this earlier, but you said you decided on a funeral, correct?
Yes, traditional funeral.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. No, I do see lots of families and other union members, and some of them will kind of get life insurance outside of work, because you know what happens to the group benefits, right?
They always, excuse me, they can change.
Exactly. They can change, and you have no control over them. So, um, do you by chance have life insurance outside of work?
No, nothing at all.
All right, perfect. No worries. So, and do you get death benefits through work that you know of?
Um, I don't know about death benefits, but I know like my work gives me like 50,000 term insurance and
Hmm.
20,000 also of through the union.
All right, that's awesome. You know, some unions don't even hook people up with that. You know what I mean? So, well, that's awesome that they hooked you guys up with that. Now, do you rent or own by chance?
We own.
Own? Okay. And what's the mortgage balance on that?
It's about like 120,000.
And how many years you got left on that?
24.
And aside from the house, debt wise, how much would you say you have left?
None.
Good for you guys. And have you started saving for your kids' college education yet?
Nope.
Okay,
No, I haven't got to it.
gotcha. And have you had internal cancer in the past 2 years? Breast, colon, pancreatic, union,
No, nothing
ovary?
at all.
No. I'm guessing has Mary had that at all? No. Okay. And insulin diabetes,
Nope.
cardiovascular disease, heart attack, stroke, peripheral.
Nope, nothing at all.
Okay. Are you currently using oxygen?
No.
No. Terminal illness?
Nope.
Okay. Alzheimer's?
Nope.
Okay. And have you used any form of tobacco in the last 12 months?
No, but Mary smokes.
She smokes? Okay.
Yep.
All right. And are you guys, any of you currently on probation or parole?
No, not yet.
Okay. Arrested or convicted of DUI?
Nope.
Okay. And how much does Mary make roughly, give or take, on her monthly income?
She's a homemaker.
Homemaker? Gotcha. Okay. It's at the end again. And Joe, what's your email address one more time?
It's Joe, joe.smith@gmail.
Okay. And what's your street address?
It is 123 Main Street.
Gotcha. And from Houston, right?
Correct.
Okay. And what's the zip code?
77380.
Okay. And your phone number?
832-628-8181.
Okay. And what's Mary's date of birth?
Mary's date of birth, excuse me, is July 4th, excuse me, June 4th, 82. My apologies.
No,
She's
you're
gonna
good.
tell me.
You said June 4th, 1982?
Correct.
Okay.
And do you need the kids as well?
Um, yes, I do actually. What's your oldest, his first name?
The oldest is Ben.
And
It's
his last name? Same.
S-
Powers or
Smith.
Smith?
Oh,
Smith.
And his birthday is 12/14/2007.
And your second child's name.
Abby,
All right, and her date of birth.
July 4th, 2003.
And you just got two kiddos, or you got another one?
Just two.
Just two? Okay. Yeah, you beat me to the punch, actually. I was just about to ask you that. Okay, so actually, before I go any further, it does look like the needs analysis found some gaps in your coverage. Okay, so I do have this mandatory read-off letter for you. So basically, it just explains how the enrollment process works. Um, Now, Joe and Mary, instead of reading this whole thing, I'm just going to kind of quickly summarize it for you, just to kind of save us some time. So what it's basically saying is that if, as I'm kind of going through the benefits, you're nodding your head thinking like, wow, these are some great benefits. I can see why 20,000 different groups approve this and why everybody's doing it. Then what I'm actually going to do is ask you to apply today. Okay. So on the flip side, if I'm going through the benefits and you're kind of thinking to yourself, these are really great benefits, but I don't know if they feel a need, um, yada, yada, then I'm actually going to ask you to not apply today. So either way, yes or no, that decision does have to be made today during your service period, just kind of in fairness to all the other members waiting to enroll. Okay, so you'll see what they did, Joe. They set it up as a no-brainer. Okay, so it's going to be an easy yes or no. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And look, I kind of whatever you decide to do, they do want you to kind of give your opinion in a Google review, which is sort of like my report card. It's how I'm graded. Um, so I just try to get a 5-star rating every time. So it's kind of important that you do stop me if you got any questions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And Mary, you'll do the same. You'll stop me if you got questions.
Yeah, she will.
Awesome. Okay. So as you being with the union for a little while. So over the years, we go through contract negotiations and benefit changes at work. It's really give and take, right? So lately it just kind of feels like we're paying a lot more and we're definitely getting a lot less. So the company has a labor advisory board of 50 international union presidents whose just main job is to provide the best wages and benefits for their members. Um, from their feedback, along with the feedback from members like yourself, they came up with a list of concerns, whether to apply to all working families, whether they're union or not. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen with you here. You'll see what I'm talking about. So actually, the first concern that families have is co-pays, deductibles, and lost wages. So it's how's your health insurance through work?
As expected.
Okay, so no matter how good it is, there's always gaps that aren't covered, right? So doctors and hospitals are doing great. Have you seen the doctors' parkings a lot lately?
Yeah, I'd say they're doing all right.
Yeah. So But when you or someone in your family is hurt or injured, then there are lost wages as well as out-of-pocket expenses that health insurance doesn't cover. So the next concern is funeral and final expenses. Have you ever dealt with a funeral before?
No, we have not.
No. Yeah. So I mean, unfortunately, at some point we pretty much will all have to deal with this, right? So do you know what the average funeral costs nowadays?
Uh, 12 grand.
12 grand? Well, that's right. In Texas, on average, all things considered, it kind of ends up costing at least $14,000. Um, and in Texas, funeral homes want their money immediately, and this kind of creates a lot of stress for the surviving family members. Most families don't have that kind of money laying around, and even if they did, they didn't set it up aside for that, right? And the next concern is paycheck loss. And obviously, no matter how great your benefits are through work, they won't keep that paycheck coming into the home, you know? And this is a huge concern for surviving spouse and children. The next concern is your mortgage and rent. Aside from the emotional trauma that an unexpected death can cause, having to have the surviving spouse and kids move out from their homes makes everything so much worse. So they wanted to make sure that wouldn't happen to families we visit with. Okay. The next concern is children's protection. Just simply due to the fact that work benefits don't provide any permanent coverage for kids or protection for kids' futures due to a loss of one or both parents, right? So they wanted to make sure that they had something in place for that. Kids are most vulnerable to experience severe consequences from the death of a parent, and this is why it was a top priority. And the next concern is terminal illness, such as cancer. Excuse me. Right now in the U.S., for men, there's a 1 in 2 chance of developing or dying from cancer. Literally meaning me or you could have it. For women, it's 1 out of 3 until the age of 65, and then it's 1 out of 2. So it's the leading cause of bankruptcy, excuse me, due to illness, and it's devastating to families, right? Next is the group benefits. Group benefits are for a group, but individuals all have different needs, right? You have a different need than Mary, a different member than a union member. You know what I mean? So more importantly, you can't rely on your group benefits because you don't own those benefits, right? How we were talking about earlier. Believe it or not, aside from retirement, people can lose benefits if they are unemployed or if they have a long illness before death. So they want to make sure you had a permanent benefit that weren't tied to your workplace, right? And the last concern is affordability. And now to take care of all of those concerns you see there, it's usually just way too expensive, right? So since we sit down with people making $7 an hour, and some are making $77 an hour. Some are working tons of overtime, some are retired, laid off. Just regardless of the situation, they wanted this to be affordable for everybody. So the way this is set up is, Joe, let's imagine your boss comes up to you at work and tells you that, because things have been going so well lately, they would start paying you 41 hours instead of 40. Now with that hour, you're going to tell your wife it's time to get matching Ferraris?
No, definitely not.
No, right? Are you going to call your travel agent, book a dream vacation, or build your dream home?
No.
Of course not, right? So now on the flip side, let's say work's a little slow and your boss comes up to you and tells you that instead of, laying you and some of your coworkers off, they would just send everybody home an hour early on Friday. So you'd be working 39 hours instead of 40. Would you get rid of your car or your cell phone?
No, no, definitely not.
Would you cancel your TV or internet prescriptions?
Not a chance.
Exactly. So the idea is that the 1 hour isn't going to change your lifestyle. You see what I mean? So that's why they set it up this way. So let me show you. Let me pull this up here. Let me show you how that 1 hour takes care of your concerns. Okay.
Okay.
This right. Can you see it all right?
Yeah, I can see it. Okay.
See that, Joe? All right, perfect. Well,
Yeah.
now with this illustration here, so just Joe on the left side, we're just gonna call that job A, okay?
Okay.
So with job A, which is the job here on the left, right? And with job A, you have your normal group benefits, right? Um, with job A, you said you're making 35, let's
3,200.
32. Say you're making 800 bucks a month, give or take, right? It's just just to kind of give you an idea. It's an illustration. So let's say you're making 800 bucks a week, right? Let's say that the other job opens up, right? We'll call this one job B on the right. So with job B, you have the same group benefits, same coworker, same responsibility, same everything. The only difference is the income. So instead of $800 a week, you're going to be making 780 dollars a week. Okay. So, which is about 1 hour's wage difference. So, which, like you said before, wouldn't change anything, right? Wouldn't
No.
change anything for you or Mary, right? So, what they did is they took that hour that didn't mean much and they decided to put it towards something that would, which is handling these concerns in a very simple and straightforward way. And this first benefit here, it covers your entire family due to any sort of accident. Okay. So, like I said before, health insurance and group benefits are great, but they don't cover everything. So, what the program does actually, it pays you up to $100 every time you go to a doctor, urgent care, or hospital for any sort of accident or injury. Whether that's a bump, bruise, or even a bee sting. Okay. So, if you end up overnight in the hospital, it actually pays you, excuse me, $200 per day and double that for intensive care, which is $400. So let's say you have an accident, right? And you end up in the hospital for 5 days. By having this in place, it actually pay you up to $1,000 tax free.
Wow.
Considering that you're not, yeah, exactly, right? So considering that you're not working and making money, do you see how this money would help take care of your bills?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely, right? Not only that, on top of that, you're actually going to get $10,000 for any loss of a hand, foot, or sight in one eye. And it's actually going to double that, $20,000 for the loss of any two. The last part of this benefit that they have set up for you, it actually provides an additional $20,000 up to $100,000 accidental death benefit, depending on the type of accident. Okay, so as I can see with your current job, none of that is covered. You see what I'm saying? Because none of it's guaranteed. And so this next one has to do with your funeral and final expenses. Um, there's 100% chance that you're going to use this one. Okay, so Joe, with this one, it's the freedom of choice certificate. It's actually going to take care of the financial burden so your family doesn't have to. So with the FOC has already been set up with every funeral home. So your freedom of choice certificate is actually worth up to $30,000. And for Mary, she also gets $30,000. Okay. So the funeral home director will simply call the number on the front of the certificate. An American Income will take care of everything for you, including sending the remaining money to your family tax free. So they're using a permanent benefit to fund your freedom of choice. That way it's there when and not if your family needs it. Okay. So, Mary, on your worst day of your life, can you see how this would make things easier for you and your children?
Yeah,
We're
she
happy.
definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, just right now, you guys just don't have anything in place for that, right? And this one here is just an income protection, but the needs analysis didn't find a need for you guys to have that in place. And so it kind of took care of that for you guys. And that's why there's zeros there. But your next one's actually the mortgage or rent protection. Um, besides their income, the next thing people want secured for their family is actually their home, obviously. So that's exactly why the benefit software is recommending mortgage or rent protection. So your program includes up to $120,000 of coverage for you, Joe. Now, statistically, if you were to die during your working years, it's probably not going to be a health issue like a stroke or a heart attack. It's probably going to be due to an accident, right? So this is funded by an accidental death benefit to save you money. So right now with your current job, they aren't going to pay your mortgage when something happens, but this program does. And the next concern that the benefit software found had to do with your children's future education. So most families I see tell me that they want their kids to have the option to go to college, but statistically, the biggest thing that would prevent that is if the kids lost one or both of their parents while they are minors. And so the benefit software is actually going to give you guys up to $80,000 for the college fund. And since it's two children, it actually breaks that down to 40,000 between the two of your kids. Excuse me. So it's not 80, 40,000. This is per child. So huge, right? As you can see right now, you don't have that. Also included is a special $10,000 life insurance plan for all of your children, 18 or younger, um, that qualify. So when they turn 21, they can actually convert this to five times that amount, meaning $50,000 of permanent life insurance with no health questions. Joe, having this in place may be their key to keeping their coverage later on when they may otherwise not be able to qualify. Okay, so your current group benefits, they just don't provide anything permanent for your children, right? Next one is the terminal illness rider. So, another important feature of this program, um, it's just that if you were to have cancer, um, now you guys didn't find a need for it, but it's there because you guys are good there. But it's there in case every something happens to change. The same thing for Mary. I mean, it didn't find a need for that. So, I mean, unlike your group benefits, like as we've been talking about before, which you can lose, these benefits are permanent and portable. Okay. So if you leave your job, retire, or leave the union, all of these that you see here on this list of concerns, those that are listed, you get to keep those. Okay. So in addition, if you are on a qualified layoff, um, they will cover your benefits for only up to 3 months. So if you're ever in a situation where you'd have a qualified strike, um, it's up to 12 months. So this way you and your family won't lose the benefits when you really need them the most. By the way, you never have to pay that back. Okay. So Joe and Mary, now that I've kind of reviewed everything with you guys, um, I'm sure you can see why 20,000 different groups chose this program above all the others. and why more families have our programs than any other companies. It's because of the value, right? And the full circle protection it provides. I mean, Joe, if something were to happen to you, like a bad car accident, right? God forbid, your family would receive, making sure I'm doing my math right here for you. What it do for you is your family, Joe, would receive $75,000 tax free for all about 1 hour's wage per week. With your current job, there is no guarantee that your family would receive anything at all. So, Joe and Mary, if you went into work tomorrow, right, and you had a choice between job A, which is here on the left, and then job B on the right, which job would you take?
Job B.
Now, why would you take job B over if you're making more money at job A?
Oh, the benefits.
Benefits, right? Exactly. It's what everybody says. Like I was saying earlier, it's really a no-brainer. Um, and now the easy part is choosing the benefits, right? The hard part again is getting you guys qualified. So as I mentioned before, I do got to get you guys qualified for that. So what I'm actually going to do is just let me run through these questions for you real fast, and let's see if you can qualify. Okay.
Okay.
Let me get this pulled up here for you. Just let me know if you can see that.
I can see it.
All right, awesome. So I'm just going to kind of go down this list here and just kind of read it with you. So, has any of the proposed insured ever been treated or advised to be treated for alcoholism or alcohol abuse, including membership in AAA, or been advised by a physician to reduce alcohol consumption?
No.
No. Okay. Has any of the proposed insured ever used drugs not prescribed by physicians, such as cocaine, amphetamines, hallucinogens, barbiturates, tranquilizers, narcotics, or sedatives?
No.
No. Has any of the proposed insured ever had their driver's license suspended or revoked because of a moving violation or been arrested, including arrest for driving while intoxicated or under the influence?
Nope.
No. Okay. Has any of the insured flown within the last 2 years or intend to fly in the future as other than a passenger or scheduled airline?
No.
No. Has any of the proposed insured participated within the last 2 years or intend to participate in any of the following activities: auto, motorcycle, boat racing, parachute jumping, scuba, skydiving?
Nope.
Okay. Has any of the proposed insured ever been advised to take tests and not done, or not received the results, been diagnosed as having or received treatment for high blood pressure, chest pain, heart attack, stroke, or any heart, blood, or circulatory disorder?
No.
No. Has any of the proposed insured ever had or been treated for any of the following conditions that I listed? Diabetes or endocrine disorder,
Nope.
paralysis, epilepsy, mental disease, or disorder, or any other nervous system or brain disorder?
No.
No. Has any of the proposed insured ever had arthritis or any injury to the trouble of the back, knees, or any of your joints?
Nope.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge and belief, do you have any, physical impairment or departure from good health?
No.
Okay. Has any proposed insured ever been rejected for life or medical hospital insurance, rated or failed to receive a policy as applied for?
No.
No. Okay. Has any proposed insured in the last 5 years had a physical examination?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Um, had any of the medical treatment includes prescription medications?
No.
Been hospitalized?
Nope.
No. Okay. Is any proposed insured currently a resident in a nursing home or have ever been diagnosed as having a terminal illness, including Alzheimer's disease?
No.
Okay. Has any proposed insured ever had or been treated for any of the following conditions: asthma, um, emphysema, sleep apnea, or any other respiratory disorder,
No.
ulcer, colitis, or any other digestive tract disorder,
Nope.
cirrhosis, hepatitis, or any other living liver disorder, or blood disorder, or received a bone marrow transplant,
Nope.
kidney, prostate, urinary bladder, or any other genitourinary disorder,
Nope.
disease of the breast, uterus, or ovaries.
No.
Okay. Uh, rheumatoid arthritis, or any other musculoskeletal disorder,
Nope.
loss of hearing or loss of sight.
Nope.
Okay. Acquired immune deficiency syndrome, AIDS related complex or AIDS related conditions.
Nope.
Okay. Has any proposed insured ever tested positive for antibodies to the AIDS or HIV virus?
No.
Does any proposed insured smoke cigarettes or use tobacco in any other form?
Mary smokes.
Mary smokes. Okay. If a former user of tobacco, when did she quit? She still smoke?
She still smokes.
She still smokes. Okay. 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 So I'm not the underwriter here. But based on what I'm seeing here, I mean, it looks like I should be able to get you qualified for the benefits. Okay. Um, like I said before, what you just looked at was the QR checklist. It's just a mandatory checklist that we do with all the members. Um, like I said, it was just explaining the enrollment process. That's what you just saw there. And so let me see what it looks like it might come out to. Okay. Let's see what we're looking at here. All right, awesome. Here we go. So Joe and Mary, almost everyone takes advantage of this program. And like you, because of the value, and the cost is very small compared to the many benefits. The cost here that I see, it's $209.83 per month for all these. And now it's very rare, but sometimes a member does cancel. It could be a week, a month, or a year later.
Wait, how much is this?
It's $209.83.
Yeah, we can't do that.
You guys can't do that? Why not?
Too expensive.
Too expensive? Hey, well, I can understand that. It's difficult nowadays to kind of make ends meet. So every time it seems, um, we're just about to get caught up, another bill comes up, it puts us back in the hole. That's what it feels like, right? But when you think about it, over the years, when anything ever did come up, you've been able to make whatever adjustments were necessary to keep the food on the table, okay? And heat in the wintertime for your family. I mean, a lot of times our families, they take us for granted, right? So, but you get up every day, you go to work, it brings the money home to take care of things and make ends meet, okay? The only thing that could ever prevent this from happening is if all of a sudden you aren't here anymore. right? So all of a sudden, that income that everyone took for granted is cut off forever, Joe. I mean, that's an adjustment that you won't be able to make here, and your family couldn't possibly make without you. Now, sure, this is, another adjustment to make, but just treat it as if your taxes went up a bit. You know, you're here and you can make it as you always have to prevent your family from being faced with an adjustment they couldn't possibly make without you. Okay. So your program is set up around 1 hour's, wage per week, so it's about $20 a week, or, in this case, $209.83. And it has inflation protection built in. Is that comfortable for you, or did you want to kind of, we can kind of work with you and adjust that number for a little bit?
No, definitely not comfortable.
Definitely not comfortable. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
let me
I think we have enough insurance.
enough insurance. Okay. Well, look, I understand that. If you had, $75,000 or $100,000 of insurance, that would seem like a lot of money. In fact, if we were to stack that much money on this table, I don't know how high that would be. Okay. So, but when you talk about your income, something we just take for granted being gone forever, all of a sudden it doesn't seem like that much. I mean, for example, your income right now is about $40,000 a year, right? A little more than that, right? So, and you've been earning that for about the last 5 years. Now that's about $200,000. How much of that do you have left? Nothing, right? So you see, if something happened to you 5 years ago, your family right now would be faced with, I mean, what do we sell first, or what government line do we stand in, right? So you see, it's very difficult to have enough insurance. Your family always needs more, but you can only do what you can do. You're just one man. So it's a matter of comfortability. Your program is set up right now still around that $20. You sure you just don't, we can adjust that for you a little bit if that price is a little scary.
Yeah, it'll definitely need an adjustment.
Definitely need adjustment. Okay. Because look, I mean, these are awesome benefits, and they'd hate for the cost to be the reason why you don't partake in these, right? So let me see what I can do for you. All right, Joe, I was able to wiggle some things around for you, and it actually dropped that down to $159.67 a month. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, that's a lot more comfortable.
A lot more comfortable? And like I said before, you know, now it's very rare, when it comes to this, but sometimes a member cancels. It could be a week, a month, or a year later, and we end up seeing, these very same people the next service period, which is usually about 2 to 3 years later, and they're upset because they're no further ahead than they were. So most people end up wanting to reapply for the benefits. The problem is now the program is more expensive because they're older. Worse yet, some people can't even get into it anymore because their health has changed. So the point is, and I'm sure you understand that the point is not that it's not a short-term fix, it's a long-term solution. Okay. So my point is, you don't want to cancel it, in a month or two later, right? So this is a long-term solution for you. And the longer you're into this program, the more valuable it is. Okay. So just to make sure this $159.67 is very comfortable for you. Okay. Does that sound right?
Yep,
Okay. Now, how does everything feel?
feels good.
Good, right? So I also want to emphasize that the first draft is going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. Um, that your bank might not reflect it for up to 10 days. So I just want to make sure we're good to go on that first draft. that the money will be there. Okay, so if there are any issues, this creates a lot of headaches for both of us. It reflects poorly on me because it makes me look like I was pressured into like I pressured you into something that you didn't want. So, are we good to go on that first draft?
Yeah, no, we are.
All right, awesome. So then, just please make sure you keep this important program in place for your family, and that way, the next time we see you, you're going to be really happy you did.